Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Company of Dads podcast. I am Skip Cherryholmes, and after a whole lot of episodes, we're going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to interview Paul.
You're doing my line. That's what I do.
Well,
I usually start it off.
I've heard quite a few of these. I know how this works. No, I think that it'd be great to sit down and act. I mean, you talk to these people over and over and over again, and the stuff that we've been putting together with the podcast has been great, but nobody really talks to you, asks you questions, and I think it'd be a great time right here at the end of the year.
This is like an only child's dream. Like, if you're like, what do you think? Like, oh my goodness, I love this. All right, let's do it. You know, it's our sort of holiday special here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first question. 2024 coming to a wrap. What do you think? Well, first of all, how do you feel about the year overall as the leader of the Company of Dads and as a dad yourself?
Wow. I guess I'll answer like as a dad myself. I think my daughters have really embraced it. My wife has really embraced it. It's just, who I am now. I've figured out this care shift that I work, sort of 9:30 to 3:30 every day when everybody else is working, and then finishing up the other stuff at night, early in the morning. So that's gone well. As a leader of the Company of Dads, this is probably, I'm glad I can say this, but it's probably been like the most like validating year we've had so far. We had a year-long partnership with Bright Horizons. We did some one-off stuff with Bank of Montreal, Deloitte, Teladocs, some other companies. I got to speak at Saramount's annual conference for the top 100 companies for working parents. We continue to have our online events. We had a great in-person event. We have a big in-person event that only you and I know about. That'll be out after this airs. That's happening tomorrow. Can't talk about that yet. So in terms of like bringing more dads into this, more lead dads, and like our ultimate goal, like to normalize the role of men as lead dads and help families fulfill their full potential. Like, we've taken huge steps toward that. If, the first year we took one step, the second year maybe we took a step and a half. This year I feel like we've taken, 5, 6, 7 steps. So it's a way different spot at the end of the year than I was at the beginning of the year. So all in all, thrilled.
Awesome. Yeah, it's one of the things that is really cool about when you're doing something like this. You love to see the support from people and people you're connected to, but it's even cooler to see people you don't know get involved. When you start seeing emails and follows on social media and all that, but that earlier you got an email from somebody who made a purchase on the website, and it was somebody you'd never known, never heard of. It's a new, so the reach is growing constantly, and that's so exciting to see that part where dads are seeing other dads speak about what they go through, and how in some cases it's accepted, some cases it's not, but really just to let dads know that they're not alone in these situations, and the data showing that dads are spending more time at home, and they're spending more time committing to their family, even if with remote work and all of this different stuff. It's quite remarkable. So it has to feel validating to feel like you're making that reach.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my favorite things is when I get these emails, and I get them at least once a week, if not more often, from somebody I don't know, like you said, is saying like, I've been following what you're doing, I'm glad you're doing it, this is meaningful. And I know how hard it is for somebody to write an email like that when it's positive, because as everyone knows who's listened to this podcast, I was a journalist for 20 years. It's really easy for people to write negative emails that say, hey, you really are awful and this is really bad. People love to do that. I used to say, like, we get these emails at the times like, hey, stupid, are you writing another stupid thing from Stupidville? You're like, oh, Uncle Jerry, so good to hear from you. No, like, whereas like now, like when people actually reach out and it's positive and they want to say like, this is having an impact, that is super meaningful. And then when people, we had an online meetup a couple weeks ago, and we usually cap these at 20, and we were right up at our cap, but only one of the people, maybe two of the people who were there did I know? And I knew them because they'd been at previous meetups. It wasn't like they weren't my neighbor or anything like that. And so all these people were new, and it was exciting and exhilarating. And that wasn't happening, 2.5 years ago when I just had this idea. So it's super validating.
Yeah. What would you say, do you think would be considered the best landmark as, from a company of dad standpoint? I actually asked this both ways, company of dad standpoint and fatherhood standpoint. Do you have a landmark of 2024 or an event or something that you achieved or that happened in your sphere that you would just say, this had me riding high. I was felt that effect.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if you have an idea and you're internally motivated, but external validation still feels great. So in the fall, when the Wall Street Journal wrote a front page story and they talked to a bunch of our lead dads for the company of dads, and they quoted me as the expert in the piece, and they included the silly, company of dads photo of me with a, sport coat on and a dress shirt, and then crazy flower printed shorts.
I was so tempted to show up at the airport when you picked me up wearing a sport coat and a pair of swim trunks. But I mean, it was 37 degrees when you picked me up.
It would have been perfect because until, yesterday, Skip and I had never met in person. It had only been on Zoom. And so for all I know, the entire time on all the Zoom calls, you had on a pair of swim trunks, and I just didn't know. Who would know?
I mean, I might have. You can't. I neither confirm nor deny that event occurring. But anyway,
no. I mean, that was great because like this is all bootstrapped. Like, we don't have a PR company. There's no PR agency going out and pitching us to people. So that Wall Street Journal reporter, found what we're doing, was interested in it, and wanted to sort of elevate it to more people. And what did that do? That brought more dads to the community. Then I got more guys reaching out to me saying, hey, I read about that. That's awesome. That's what I'm doing. I'm glad there's something out there like this. Or we were talking about this yesterday, guys saying, I felt so alone. And now I know that there's a group like this. Because, our data is 25 million men in the U.S. are lead dads or could be lead dads. It's a third of all fathers. But that means 2/3 are not. Right. And so, it's a big group, but you may live in a community where there could be lead dads, and you don't really know that they're lead dads because they're not coming out and saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. There's no way for them to get together. So an article like that then, brought more, lead dads to the company dads, that was a high watermark.
I was looking at a article earlier today, and I was reading through, it was a bunch of submissions that dads had put in about things that maybe be misconstrued about dads or stereotypes about dads, and each of the little quotes that were there had a name next to it, and then there was one quote, a single quote, that was about the idea, the myth stereotype that dads aren't willing to make career changes for their family, or to take a stronger role in their family, be lead dads essentially.
Yeah.
But it was anonymous.
Yeah.
Because it's something that they're just not wanting to talk about. And I know you have your own experiences that even if you're in that position, it's not something that you feel comfortable stepping out into, letting people know that's where you're at.
We have, I think we've probably done about, by the end of the year, we will have done, 40, 48, 49, 50 maybe, lead dads of the week. There's this weekly feature we have. You just highlight a guy who's a super involved father. And it's wonderful that pretty much every week we have one. The weeks we don't is because we took a week off, we took a break, went on vacation like normal people do. But the ones that I remember, and, I don't know what this says about me, but the ones that I remember are the two where I talked to people and then afterwards they changed their mind. I
talked to Dad.
They didn't want it to run. They wanted to be anonymous. Or they didn't want to be known. And I joke with them. I was like, you didn't tell me about throwing a puppy into the pond. You talked to me about all really good stuff, and the reason was all the same. Well, I don't know what this is going to do for my career. Right. What will this do for my career? And this is, we had data from this pre-COVID that, men who wanted to be super involved fathers, who wanted to be lead dads, they were seen as not committed to their jobs. And look, working moms have been penalized for decades, over this, but we know from our research that, two things can be true at the same time. Like supporting lead dads in their role is also a way to support working moms and ultimately to support, families. And so to get so that those guys don't ever say like, hey, I don't want to, come out and be named in this. So.
Yeah. So second part of that question was personal. Did you have anything from 2024 personally or as a father, or just a moment of pride or a moment of enjoyment, excitement that you reflect on? You're like, this was a highlight of my year.
I have lots of them, but they all sound like kind of braggy, like things that my kids did. I mean, my favorite moments of every year are always, I've got 3 daughters, as everyone knows, like when I have time with just one of them and we go somewhere and then we really talk and we open up. And my oldest daughter is 15 and dads will say like, oh man, you've got a teenager. And I said, it's not like that at all. It's really great. And, we talk through things and we're open about things. And that to me, every single year, that's always going to be the highlight. It's not going to be, child 1, earned this prize, or child 2, won that. Those are like outward markers of success. It's like seeing like, okay, I'm having great conversations, with my kids. And my middle daughter is great. She'll always say, hey, Dad, I think that's a lead dad over there. I think that's like a lead dad in the wild. Like, hey, Dad, is that a spotted rhinoceros over there next? No, it's a lead dad. And I was like, you're right, that's a lead dad. And so
like so searching for Pokemon.
That's right. Like she is in tune and like forever trying to help. Like, maybe you want to talk to this person. Like at one point she said, maybe you want to talk to Dax Shepard. So Dax Shepard, if you're listening, my daughter would like me to talk to you. I was like, I would like to talk to him, but I don't. He may be kind of busy right now. I don't know how I would get to him. So.
Anybody who sees this, just tag Dax Shepard straight up. Just say, this guy, his daughter wants to talk to you. He wants to talk to you. We got to make it happen. I know your kids are a little bit older than mine, but it's similar for me too. Is like my kids make me proud with things that they do all the time. But my proudest moments are like those moments where they show their depth. And it's like my son will just come up and ask me a question that in a lot of ways will blow my mind, because it's like I realize how much he's growing up and how he's noticing things and stuff. But the fact that he feels so comfortable to just come up, hey, let's talk about whatever.
Yeah.
And it's something, sometimes it's something that matters to me, and sometimes it's something that doesn't matter to me at all. But the fact that he sees me as that person he wants to come talk to about it, and my daughter as well, those are the proudest moments. And they ride high over any kind of accolade or achievement that which I'm not. It's not that I'm not proud of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's the personal development, all of that stuff that just means so much. 2025 on the horizon.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff coming. A lot of momentum from 2024 riding into 2025. What do you see as a goal for the company of dads, but also for any dads listening? What do you think would be a great goal for dads listening to set for the year 2025?
Well, for dads themselves, for them to set, I would, great goal would be for them to sort of, if they're dads who are working full time or part time, a great goal would be for them to talk honestly about being a father at work. If your office, your place of employment, if they have a group for parents, 9 times out of 10 those groups are filled 100% with women. Go join those groups. Put yourself out there, and you're not a man, you're a father. You're obviously a man, but you're a father, and you're also a parent, and like come together like that. And that type of allyship is so positive for people in general, but you just learn so much from each other. And you'll realize, as we've realized over the past almost 3 years, that, we're all in this together. And when, moms and dads can kind of support themselves in that parenting, support each other in that parenting journey, that makes such a huge difference. Because what's the opposite of that? What's the opposite of that? These are the stereotypes that you brought up earlier. People have assumptions that, largely aren't true. Oh, well, dads, they only do this and this and this. Or, I can't do this because, that's something that only moms do. And like, that's not true. Like, there are only two things that moms can do that dads can't do. They can carry a child for 9 months and give birth. And number two, if they so choose, they can breastfeed. Other than that, all the care, all the time together, all the conversations, either parent can do that. And so I'd love, goal for dads would just be to lean in and realize that, you're going to get so much more out of it than you're going to put into it, because you're going to suddenly have other parents who understand what you're going through, and you're going to have support. You're going to realize that the crazy stuff that you think, oh my goodness, I'm the only person who's going through this. You're 100% not the only person going through this.
Awesome. And, Company of Dads just is taking the message to the people and reaching out to companies that maybe have curiosity over how they can support working parents. I know that's been kind of a big mission, but it continues to be a mission, is just trying to help. Certain companies are embracing this, and they make policy adjustments, and they show a lot more support. And then there are some companies who they say they support it,
right?
But then as time goes on, then it kind of shows that they support it on paper and in theory, but they don't actually support it. And then some companies don't support it at all. By supporting it, I mean, working fathers and working parents and caregiving equity and whatnot. I think that's like the 2025 goal, is to just let's see what kind of waves we can make.
Yeah, I mean, it's a way for us to have, the community is at the core of everything we do. But, if we have 30 people, 40 people, 50 people at an event, that's awesome. But if I go and talk to a company and there's 600 people, on the live stream, if there are 1,000 people on the live stream, and then those people tell other people what we're doing, that helps to accelerate our mission to normalize the role of lead dad. And like you said, like, some companies are still like, well, we're not going to do this. We don't want to get into it, or we're focusing all our efforts on something else. And I tell them, like, this is not like buying your employees a ping pong table, or having a bar cart go around on Friday afternoon. This is something that makes your company stronger. It keeps people from leaving. It saves you money, because when people leave, you have to spend more money to replace them. And you create this culture where people feel like, okay, this company really does, believe what I'm doing. And as I say, like, what you can do for lead dads, you can do for working moms, and you can do for caregivers in general. And somewhere in the upper 90 percentile of people will be a caregiver at some time in their life. So these small changes that companies can make and have a big impact on their workforce and their bottom line. And that's something in 2025 we've had great success doing it this past year with some really great companies. We just want to keep driving that home and show that this is actually a huge, benefit to the company and to the employees.
That's right. Wrapping it up, anything you want to, any words of wisdom you want to share with the wrap of the year, or anybody you want to shout out to?
No, I'm just always like super grateful for all the people that I reach out to, or that reach out to me, and then I say, hey, can we just hop on a Zoom and do a lead dad of the week? And they do it, and they share. And when I can give them feedback and say, that's a great story, it reminds me of this guy I talked to, a year and a half ago. Or sometimes I love it when I talked to a guy from Kansas City a couple weeks ago, and I said, oh, you should look up this other guy. He's also in Kansas City. He was a lead dad of the week, and he did. And he reached out to him, and now they have a connection as lead dads in Kansas City. So I guess the words of wisdom is, if you think you're a lead dad, reach out to the company of dads and join what we're trying to build here.
That's right. Follow us on all of our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram. We have a Facebook group, LinkedIn. You can catch different dimensions of what it is that our community is doing, along with our newsletter, The Dad, which is a weekly newsletter. If you're not a socials person,
just once a week, every Sunday morning, 7 a.m. before hopefully your kids are up, you're having a cup of coffee, just read the newsletter then.
Yeah, and it's just going to grow from there. Paul, it's been a fantastic year, and I'm looking forward to 2025.
All right. Thank you, Skip, and thank you.